So while you guys are still seated, before we continue with our music here, I'm going to say a few words, which is out of my comfort zone a bit. But I haven't said much from the stage since we've been doing this church for about 6 months now. So I know some of you may not feel like you know who I am very well at all, other than just seeing me up here. So for those of you who don't, my name is Lenny. I'm Narrate's music and arts director. And I'm from Billings, and I was very involved with the music and arts department in Billings at Harvest Church there for several years before Adam got this idea in his head that I should maybe come on staff here with this new church that Harvest was planning in Helena called Narrate. And at first, when he started talking to me about that, I was incredibly apprehensive. I basically told him it's a terrible idea, and I'm not a worship leader. I don't even like most worship music. And not to mention, I'm not much of a people person. I'm very introverted. So you have pretty terrible staffing assessment skills, is what I told him. But he was insistent, and he really thought that I was a good guy for the job, that I could be the right guy for the job. So what followed preceding that was about 8 months of working through that and debating it and discussing it and praying about it and kind of trying to figure this out. We did some trial worship sets at these Mosaic gatherings that Adam used to lead in Billings. And then at the end of that, around December of 2008, I finally came to the determination, to the conclusion that this was actually what I was supposed to be doing. And Adam welcomed my musical snobbery and my desire to do something different than your typical church music. So I said, all right, let's give it a try, and I moved up here. So when we started this church, we we didn't really know what it would develop into. We had a lot of goals and vision for what we wanted, especially like Sunday morning gatherings, to look like, but we really had no idea how the indigenous people of Helena, most of you, would receive it and respond to it. We really didn't know how it would be received. And one of my personal goals, of course, as music director, is to effectively lead and inspire worship through music. And along with that, to create a musical environment that's somewhat interesting and creative. And hopefully, at the very least, you found the music here to be somewhat interesting and unique. But that's only a secondary objective. My primary objective really is to effectively, like I said, motivate, inspire, direct corporate worship. And in that area, I have a lot to learn, and I think I'm a bit lacking, and I'm working on that. I'm very new to the whole worship thing. I know from talking to some of you and from hearing comments passed on through others, it's very hard to feel comfortable with being yourself in your worship here, with worshiping expressively in the way that you naturally would feel inclined to worship. And there's some of you who even come from much more kind of charismatic church backgrounds, and yet here at Narrate, you don't feel like you can raise a hand or clap after a song. And that's largely a result of lack of good guidance on my part, giving you the freedom and communicating that you're free to do that. A big part of my problem is I'm, as I said, very introverted. I'm kind of shy and private. And that flows over, those traits flow over a lot into my personal worship style as well, and into my spirituality. So it makes it all the harder for me to encourage people who are more outwardly expressive to feel free to do that. But I certainly do want you to feel free to do that. We're talking a lot about worship this morning, and I want you to feel free and comfortable to be yourself and worship in the way that you want to worship. If that means, if you're a hand raiser, raising a hand. If there's a song that's particularly meaningful to you, sing it out. And the more people are singing, the louder people are singing, the better it's going to sound in here. Because I certainly don't have the most angelic voice. I know my own shortcomings in that respect. And if you're a clapper, feel free to clap. Clapping at the end of a song it's celebratory, and it's not per se directing praise at the band, but it is very encouraging to us at the same time, that interaction, and we're going to feed off that energy, and we know you'll feed off of our energy, and it's a nice symbiotic relationship that we have between us in that way. So, feel free, worship in the way that you want to worship, and at the same time, we're going to be working hard, the leadership, to continually be improving the environment of worship around here. And on that note, we're going to do